reflection, right? Because if I remember the coaching sessions that I had when I had an executive coach in Big Blue, it was very much when I'd talk about situations, she would get me to look back on what happened and why did it happen that way and what was I now thinking. And unless somebody stops you, put everything else aside, asks you those questions and makes you consider the answers before you say it, only then do you really dig deep to
Mm.
actually think what's happening. One session I remember I had was about a conflict I've had, believe it or not, with my boss's boss on a public call with many people on it. And I was throwing my toys around. Right, this is what's going to happen. And she let me talk for a while and she said, so have I ever showed you the model, she said, about parent and child and who which, and I went, no. So she drew this model for me very calmly. She said, now, where are you in here? Are you the child or are you the parent? So I said, well, I'm in charge of the business. So I said, she said, well, can I offer that the way that I've heard you talk is maybe you're here and you're responding in this way. And then you start going, well, yeah, okay. She goes, well, what if we turned it this way and you behaved like that? How would that work for you?
Mm.
And then she got into this, and she probably did it all the way through, Neil. She probably just, apart from drawing the model, most of it was questions.
Mm.
Most of it was why, what, how, what were you thinking? How are you feeling? And and so it brings out a lot. So it's really worked for me, but much more because it causes that reflection, because you have to stop and think about what's happening.
Well, and the reflection comes from a great question being asked.
Yeah.
And that's what I've found with coaching is when you're asked a great question, it makes you stop in your tracks. It's like you've been hit by something and it just opens up a door that you couldn't see was there. Yeah. And so what I've found with coaching, so personally, I've used coaching a lot in the last few years, and it's enabled me to grow as a person, to get rid of some of the limiting beliefs I might have, to see possibilities that I might not have seen if I hadn't had the coaching.
Yeah.
And to help through some of the techniques to help me through some of the challenges as well.
Yeah.
And I find that when I'm coached, I'm trained and qualified as a coach and an NLP coach. There are models that you learn and techniques you learn that you can then apply to help people break through some of those things. So I guess coaching makes you a better person, makes you a better leader, and helps break through some of those personal, internal challenges that you might not recognize you've got.
Yeah. Listen, you and I know some really good coaches, right? You know, we've worked with them over the years, or they've become coaches since. And so, you know, we're in touch with those, and we can see where they've got some great successes and some really happy people on the back of what they do.
Yeah.
There's something to think about here, guys. You will get into some deep questioning with a coach. There is no right or wrong answer. There's only your answer, right? Mm-hmm. And that's important. You realize that when a coach puts questions to you, they don't have an answer that they're waiting for you to confirm, right? So don't worry about whether it's right or wrong, and don't worry about telling the truth, right? Mm-hmm. They're not going to judge you either. A coach cannot judge you on what you have to say. That's your belief. That's your feeling. They might want to go a bit deeper to understand what it is that makes you feel that way. Mm-hmm. But you've got to be honest in a coaching session, right? Please don't think that a coaching session is rated and taken anywhere else. They should also be totally confidential, right?
Yeah. They are 100%. And you know, so some of the questions I get, well, yeah, I don't really need a coach at the moment, or I'm not sure when I'm going to need a coach. I'll wait till I've got a problem before I need a coach. And the bottom line is, I used to be like that, you know, because it costs money, you know, and it costs quite a lot of money to have a good coach. So, and you know, and your business might pay for it, which is great. But if you're paying for it as well, you've got to look at it as an investment in you. You know, I've spent a load of money over the last 4 years on a coach, but I just look at it as that has come back 10 times in what I've got out of it personally, not just necessarily financially, but personally making me a better person. So when is the best time to have a coach? Now. Yeah. You will benefit as a leader if you want to grow, if you want your team to grow, if you want to have a more fulfilled life. So you're enjoying life more, or you're engaging more. Coaches will help you. No
Yeah,
question.
I think there's another aspect of that as well, Neil, because you talk about what effect it's had on you and what you've gained, achieved, enjoyed. Um, but that's had downstream effect as well, right? There's other people that you've touched, whether they are in the family or whether they're your customers or whether they're your peers or colleagues. I can say I've benefited from your coaching, right? Whatever you've been coached on, you have shared with me in one way or another, either intentionally or unintentionally, right? So that's another thing to think about, guys, right? If you can get yourself buzzing, you can share that with others that also helps them develop and move forward, whether you're a leader or whether you're a professional. Doesn't make a difference.
And there's that ripple effect. So let's just and then let's just talk about leaders as coaches for a second as well, because it's a definite skill that every leader should try and develop. Now, it doesn't mean you've got to be a coach, but it means that you need to understand when you're being a manager leader and when you're being a coach leader, and learn some techniques, learn some of the basics, like the GROW model you can use as a coach, the goals, reality, options, way forward. So which is one of the basic coaching models, but just learn some basic coaching techniques and models that you can then help your people with.
Yeah. That's interesting you say that, because I've got GROW written down on my pad here. And I was going to ask you, in your world, how current that is. That was one of the first coaching models I ever learned, 90s.
Yeah,
and
90s.
To be honest, it's probably as effective now. But I guess there's other techniques as well, right? But that's a great model, right?
So I was doing an NLP coaching course 18 months ago. And the GROW model was the basis for it.
So you don't have to throw it. You don't have to throw it out because it's old, right? That doesn't mean it's not effective.
It's just a set of questions. It's a bit like, we taught in sales. We teach the whiteboard methodology as a way of uncovering value and uncovering customer needs.
Yeah.
The whiteboard method is a brilliant method of questioning for coaching. And it's very similar to the GROW model. So just having that structure, and that's where coaches add value, is to help lead people through that process. But as a leader, you don't have to be trained and go through years of qualifications to just learn some basic coaching techniques that you can use with your team to help them.
Yeah.
Rather than tell them, help them.
I mean, the important thing about our session here today, guys, we're not here to try and teach you how to coach. No. We're not here to have a mentoring session. We're here to talk about the merits of it. Yeah. We're here to talk about the benefits that we've personally seen, and to encourage you to consider that, to look into it. I mean, maybe in future episodes, Neil, we might talk a bit further about how people can get some help, although we have got offers in terms of coaching sessions for people, right? But that's the main thing here, guys, is espousing the value of it and asking you to go and look at it yourself and consider whether you think it could be beneficial for you. I'd be surprised if you didn't confirm it would be in one shape or form.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think, so if you want to grow as a leader, if you want to be a better leader, if you want to your team to thrive, your business to thrive, find a mentor, engage a coach, learn some coaching skills that you can then use with your team.
Yeah.
And if you want to work, if you want to have a free coaching session with us as well, we've offered that as, we'd love to take you through the experience of being coached.
Yeah.
In a leadership capacity.
Yeah.
So I think we've kind of talked around that topic now. Anything else you want to add?
When you and I were talking in the prep, I asked you the question on your opinion on the difference between coaching and counselling. We just cover that quickly.
Yeah, okay. So it is important, because when you're trained as a coach, one of the things they teach you is you're not a therapist, you're not a counsellor. And counselling starts straying into therapy, into medical, and having to be... So you've got to recognise... So part of your coaching session might be someone goes to seek counselling.
Yeah.
So if they're struggling with relationship issues with their family or something that's affecting work, or they've got an addiction of some kind, or they've got bereavement, those sort of things need to be dealt with by professionals.
Yeah.
Coaching can help handle some of the thought process, but it won't address the underlying psychological issues.
Yeah. So important to realize that, guys, right? You know, counseling is more medical than therapy and is available to many people via one way or another, whether it's National Health or others. But that isn't coaching, that isn't mentoring, right? Yeah. So good distinction for us to get here, guys.
Yeah. So I'll let you wrap up.
Yeah, look, guys, thank you very much for your time. I hope you've enjoyed that session and you've learned something from that, and it's encouraged you to consider how you might want to improve yourself as you go forward. Thank you for your ratings. Thank you for your subscriptions. And we're enjoying carrying on with this. We've got some great material. Neil and I have been talking today about material coming up for the future weeks and months. So looking forward to doing that. So please keep us your ratings coming. Keep us your feedback coming. We've got, I think in the next couple of episodes, we're responding to requests from people who have suggested online. So that's fantastic to hear. So thanks very much. Neil, anything else from you?
No, I'd just say thanks for all your comments. Keep the feedback coming. Keeps us motivated. And we'd love to engage with you in a coaching session at some point if that is going to add value to you.
So guys, you would have seen both Neil and I put posts up about a webinar that we've got coming up. First time that we're doing that. So we've got that as a live session. You can register for that. Please have a look on Neil's LinkedIn, look on my LinkedIn. Please register and come and join us. It's going to be a great session.
Yeah, looking forward to a bit nervous about doing a live webinar, but we'll have some fun with that and hopefully get some great Q&A from people as we go through it.
Absolutely.
Good to see you,
talk
mate.
to you now. All the best.
Take
Speak to you later. Bye. Bye.